This is Town Talk, and I'm Gina Keating. I'm here with Pastor Joe Finfrock, and we're going to be talking about the Young County Judges race. So, Pastor Finfrock, it's so good to have you here.
Thank you. I finally made it to the upper room, and I am very pleased about that. Thank you, Gina. Thank you for all the encouragement, and the coverage, and things that have, I think, helped people to know a little more of who I am and what I'm about.
Well, we want to make sure everybody knows who's on the ballot and they all get out to vote. I sent you a list of some questions, and so I thought we might talk about those. So our first question is, what in your mind are the county's priorities? What should they be for the next 4 years?
Yes, and when I read that question, Gina, my first thought was the county citizens. I asked somebody about that, and they said, well, I think that's county government, and that's why I got back to you and said, which one do we want to talk about? And you said either or both. So I would just say, in a nutshell, county government, my priority would be this: to let the 100 employees of Young County know that they're valuable, that they have value, that they're appreciated. You know, I learned long ago, you can buy somebody's back, but you can't buy their heart. And it's not a paycheck. It's letting people know that they're valuable, letting people know that they're appreciated, helping them increase their skill set. And so I really want to work hard on the government side. Of course, there's the economic and looking at the $19.2 million budget and how to do that. But I found with people, if you value people, if you express that, and if you help them, then all the boats in the harbor rise, and people do better just naturally. So that's important to me. I also want to train leaders. I told our church a couple days ago we do a once a month leadership training, and I said, of all the things I've done for 26 years, I think this might be one of the best, because I really try to add value to our leadership team. And I found when the three keys to any organization: leadership, leadership, leadership. And whether it's a church or a county or a business or a family. And so that's a priority of mine, and I'm not sure exactly how that's going to flesh out. What we do at the church, we feed them a great meal, and then I teach something on leadership, or we bring someone else in. But those are, as I think of the county government, that's the priorities. When it comes to the citizenship of Young County, I'm probably not going to give the standard answer, but I truly believe that there needs to be a moral turnaround, that the values that we value are slipping away from us or falling away from us, and we seem to be in this moral free fall, and it affects everybody, even the good people of Young County. And I read your paper and I read the Graham Leader, and I go, it's like Crime Stoppers. I mean, the families are disintegrating. It's affecting all of us at a certain level. Even those that have wonderful families, good marriages, it affects all of us. And so I really want to address that, either as an example or things that obviously will help turn us back to the moral issues that and values that made our country great, that makes it great to be a part of this county. So that's, let me see if there's anything else I would say. I would say another goal is for people to have confidence in the local government. And I'm not saying they don't necessarily. I'm just saying that's something that can always be improved. And by being trustworthy and transparent and really focusing on communication, I think we can, people follow people they trust, leaders they trust. If they trust you, well, you've already won over half the battle. So I'd say that. And then the last thing is just, I know the cost of living. It's killing people. People just can't make ends meet. And I know there's that elite elite part of the population that has more money than they know what to do with. But I was raised in middle class. My dad was a farmer scratching out a living in Oklahoma Panhandle. So I think I can appreciate the fact this single mother who's stressed out because she can't pay her bills, or a man that's he brings home the same paycheck, but it's not covering the needs or the expenses. So I could go on and on, Gina, so I'll just leave it at that.
Okay. All right, so let's go to number 2. The Regional Republican Party has listed mental health and water infrastructure as the priorities for the coming session, meaning that is probably what our state legislators will focus on. Do you agree with those priorities?
In a word, yes. That's my answer. But to flesh it out just a little bit, I would say I understand the mental health crisis we're in. And for some reason, it seems like it takes a Columbine or Sandy Hook or Uvalde, and all of a sudden we knee-jerk, and boy, but it goes to the side. And so but I would say this, to just say mental health, to me is putting a Band-Aid on it. There are deeper issues. I mean, we're not just mental people. We're spiritual people. We're physical people. We're relational people. We're emotional people. And there's a tie between all that. So to just say we're going to fix mental health I don't think that's going to work. You can add programs, and our government's pretty good to do that. But I think to really understand the holistic nature that if a child is being abused emotionally in their home, they're going to have mental issues that they bring to school. And so we can't just say, okay, let's fix that part, because every part needs addressing. But I understand the approach of looking at a specific target and hitting it, and so that's important. I've learned quite a bit about the infrastructure, water infrastructure, and where we are right now. And again, whether you look at Flint, Michigan, or Mississippi, or the Colorado River and Lake Mead, and I've been to Phoenix, and I'm telling you that it's in the desert. They need water, and it's a critical issue. It's like freedom. You don't miss it until you don't have it. And just a little side story, years ago, I felt really led to do something. I went without food and water for 3 days. And I want to tell you, food, it didn't matter. Every cell of my body was screaming for water. And I applaud David Spiller, who's trying to push this initiative and help us think ahead, because it gets to that point we're out of clean, potable water. It's probably going to be too late by then, so I appreciate that priority.
Okay, great. Okay, so what do you think needs to change with regard to the way the Commissioners Court does its business? I mean, if anything, you've been sitting in those meetings for months now, and I'm sure you've made some observations.
Yes, thank you. One of the things that I've learned is it's really easy to coach from the bleachers. Everybody up in the bleachers knows just what the coach should do, and the players, and they've got it all figured out. Then you get down the sidelines, which I am. I'm character coach for the Graham Steer varsity football team. You're down there, it's different. There is a reason for things. There's a reason they do things the way they do. They're not perfect, but they have their reasoning. And I think that in the Commissioners Court, people could sit there and say, well, they need to do this, or they should do that. And so I want to say, first of all, just 2 things. One is I've met with each one of our county commissioners, and I respect them. They're good men. They have good minds and good hearts, and I know their desire is to do the right thing. All that being said, I would say there can be more cooperation. There can be more, when we compete against each other, everybody, there's a healthy side to competition, but But there's a side if we're not going the same direction or moving together. And I brought you a book. This is one of my favorite books on leadership. It's called It's Your Ship. I went and heard a man named Michael Abershaw. He took a ship from really the worst in the fleet to first in the fleet. And he describes how he did that, and I want to share this book with you. But basically, one of the key things was he saw all the different departments on the ship competing against each other. And so he changed the culture to where they worked together. And by working together, they won the award for the outstanding ship. I think it was in the Pacific Fleet. And so that's who I am. That's why politics has never appealed to me, because I see it as divisive, potentially divisive, and just my thing, as opposed to coming together, working together. It's amazing how little good people get done when they're going different directions. It's amazing how much can be done with good people working together. So that's my answer.
Great. Let's show that book cover, because I think people might be really interested in it. I know I am.
It's yours.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
Of course.
Wow.
You're an author, so you will appreciate a good book more than most. You realize the time and effort it takes to write a good book.
That's true. Okay.
Can I plug your book?
No.
Netflix, folks, get it right now. It's a must read.
Thank you. Okay, so let's talk about some of the duties that you're going to have as county judge. And is there anything that you think needs to change about the way that Young County either generates or spends its money? And how would you preside as budget officer in Young County? Because that's going to be one of your main jobs.
It is one of the main jobs, and I understand that. I've been working with finance committees and church issues that relate to finance for 38 years. So I'm comfortable with the process. I couldn't sit here and tell you every step of the Texas local county code, but I can tell you that I understand the flow of it, and I understand that there's this much income and we want to do this much with it. And I've never been one to chase the money because I feel like if we do the right things, good things happen. For example, if we make Young County a more attractive, desirable place to live, the quality of life, the schools, the churches, the communities, then you draw people. You draw industrious people. You draw people who are entrepreneurs, who want to work hard and who want to have a great living, and that will bring that. Now, yes, we need to look at these things like the pilots and the tax abatement issues. I understand that as well, but it's two sides to the same coin. And on the one side, yes, I am pro-business. I'm a capitalist all the way, unless it would be a business that would hurt the quality of life, quality of people, quality of families in Young County. And on the other hand, my giftedness doesn't seem to be to generate large amounts of income, but I think I've been pretty good at stretching the income, at finding ways to get more bang for your buck or value for your dollar. And so I would like to think that I can bring that to the table.
So the decision-making skills.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. I guess I could add this right there. This is a very important part of it. When I first, God laid this on my heart to, and then put it on my heart and called me to run for Young County Judge as a write-in candidate, I thought, I've just never been in that circle. I've never done that. What would make me a good judge? And believe it or not, I was reading my Bible in Deuteronomy chapter 1. They were picking judges, and they said they need 3 qualifications. One, they need to be well respected. And I I've tried to earn the respect of people in our community and other places. The second thing was that they made good judgments. And that's wisdom. Wisdom is knowing the right thing to do. And so I think the wisdom of judgment decisions, whether it's in commissioner's court or whether it's in juvenile court, that's what a judge does. They make judgments. And to have confidence in the person that they're making good judgments. But there's a third thing in Deuteronomy. It says that they were impartial. The first person, Gina, that came to see me after I announced, I didn't know them, I'd never met them in my life, and they came to my office, and the question was, will you be fair? Will you be fair with everyone? And years and years ago, I was in a real tough meeting with somebody, and it was with a group of deacons actually, and it was wrestling with an issue, and nobody wanted to say the answer because it was going to be costly, it was going to take a lot of effort. And one of my deacons said, Pastor, it's never wrong to do the right thing. Gina, I can take you back to where I was sitting in that office. That impacted me so greatly, and from that point on, not that before I was trying to be shady and deceptive, but from that point on, I've said it's never wrong to do the right thing, and I've tried to live by that.
Great. Okay, so I guess that kind of covers a little bit what your judicial philosophy would be as you preside over the misdemeanor, criminal, and small civil cases, probate matters, and appeals from local justices of the peace. Can you tell me more about your judicial philosophy?
I think, again, my philosophy is that people deserve equal treatment under the law. And people seem to be very concerned or upset, or whatever word you want to use, that there's two different playing fields, or it's not level, and some people get privilege and some people don't. Some people are stuck in the system, and some people are fast-tracked through it. And one of my things in life is I don't like wasting my time, and I don't like wasting other people's time. And so when I see areas where it looks like we could tighten things up and make them run more efficiently, I'm all for that. And again, not to run people through the system, but to be as effective as we can possibly be, to give each person the time that's needed for their case. And so that's probably the main thing. I would say, as much as philosophy, it's process. And just so someone would know, the process is, first I try to get an understanding of the facts or the information. The old saying, good information, good decision, bad information, bad decision, no information, lucky decision. Well, for me, and it's my blessing and my curse, but one of the things that I've found about myself is I can see different viewpoints. I can see different things that people are saying. And so to gather as much information about a case or an issue as I can, then secondly, one thing that I do, I pray. I pray over my decisions. I know there's someone much wiser than me. There's someone who has greater understanding than I do. And so I try to pray through things and make sure and have that peace in my heart that this is the right thing, and then make the decision and live with it. A lot of people have, not a lot, that's an exaggeration. Some people have said, well, preachers, they're soft on people and they forgive everything, and mercy triumphs over judgment, and they're going to and I'll just say for myself, I don't think that's true. I think when I know the right thing to do, I'll do it. And yes, I have lost friends, close friends, personal friends, church members, other people, because they didn't like the decision I made, and I've learned to live with that and accept that. And I think Abraham Lincoln said, I have But I have a goal of having one friend after the war, and it's myself. And that's what I want to do. I want to look myself in the mirror every morning and say, you're doing the right thing because it's the right thing to do.
That's a very lovely answer. Okay, so last question. Do you think Young County is prepared for the types of emergency management situation? The reason that I ask this question, of course, is because the county judge presides over all of the emergency preparedness systems. So, in your opinion, is there anything we can do to improve it, or is it okay?
Well, I'll try to make this the short answer. Greg Coker was in our church to see one of his family members get baptized several weeks ago, and I said, hey, I'd like to visit with you. Greg is the emergency management coordinator, and if anybody knows Greg, he is one of these guys all in and do things the best and the right way. So I had a very good conversation with him, and I was in Judge Bullock's office this week, and there is a book, and when Greg said it was that thick, I said, oh, he's exaggerating. It's that thick on emergency management procedures. Now what's interesting, it doesn't cover everything A to Z, it covers everything A to U, because there's still 4 letters that they haven't used, but still there's 22 different scenarios. Tornadoes, mass shooting, bomb threats. I mean, there's so many things, and so to be candidly honest, do I think Young County is prepared for some of those things? No, I don't. I mean, we all get lulled into sleep. Now, I would say we've got wonderful people, whether it's Greg or the sheriff's office, the first responders, 911 dispatcher. We've got some great people leading, and so we can always improve, always get better. I'm confident that we've got good people. It's just, how do you get really prepared for a Hurricane Ian or something like that? I guess everybody can say we're prepared, but are we really? We can do better.
Thank you so much for visiting with us. Your answers were very enlightening. This is Gina Keating with the Olney Enterprise, and thank you for joining us on Town Talk.